What is up, everybody? This is not the Ballsville update. This is live from Vegas with Jimbo. What's up, Jimmy? How's it going out there in Vegas, friend?
It's different doing something live with the background noise. You got action. You got players up there making their bets on the Super Bowl already. They're betting on baseball right now. We got games going on. This is what we came out here to do, is have excitement, have some fun. I'm sure we'll have our glitches, but, man, I'm glad to be out here. This is great.
Yeah, it sounds like a good time. We're going to see some old friends and probably hopefully get to meet some new ones out there while you're representing Ballsville. Ballsville's in a really good place right now. We have one open redraft game left. We just filled the one for tonight's podcast. It is kicked off right now. We'll show that board in a second. Our totals for our bonuses have reached new heights. Champions, runner-up, and the wagering bonus. And probably the biggest news of all is starting next week, as we approach the season, we are going to have a whole new lineup of shows. You already know Jimbo's. We're going to have the Gauntlet Recap, which is our former triathlon game rebranding, and we'll have some review of what happened each week with that. We have Jimmy's live on the Waiver Wire. He won't be in Vegas every week, but we'll enjoy it while it's here. On Wednesdays, we're going to have Sarah's Fantasy Football Soundboard. It's going to be more of a social gathering. We're going to invite a lot of you players to come up and join us. And then Thursday is going to be a little more buttoned up with myself. We're going to go over strictly Ballsville updates. The game leaders, highest points for the week, slim victories, things like that. And at the end of the week, we're going to have a spot open for JoJo and Connor, Dynastyville. They're going to talk about player values and what to look out for as far as your buy and sell windows. So big things coming up for Ballsville for the lineup. We are 9 days away from the NFL season. I know I'm pumped. Jimmy, you pumped?
I'm pumped, baby. I'm ready. I'm ready to see these Raiders do something. I'm a little down and out with the Bucs injuries, but all in all, man, after this long off season of drafting, I'm ready to put it to work and see who I can take their money.
Absolutely. So without said, guys, this is Jimmy's show, and I'm going to give it to Jimmy, and Jimmy's going to host it and run you through some good football talk and some let you meet some new guests. So,
all right, get that draft started. Throw that board up there, and let's start drafting. And I'll be talking in the background. Let's do it. All right, guys. Here we are, guys. We're getting this draft going. Everybody's already drafting. We're live out here at the Westgate Casino Sportsbook room. Just like I said, I was going to bring this to you guys virtually if you couldn't be here. So some of us made the trip. I'm going to introduce some people I got out here with me. I got some guests tonight that some you'll know, some you don't know. We're going to talk football. We may go longer, we may go shorter, but we're going to have fun. That's the main thing. You guys get in there and chat. You guys bang it up with each other. Bring some excitement. As the draft goes on, we're going to break it down with some guests as we go. So hang in there, and I'm going to do this right now. I'm going to bring on my co-host, all the way from Grand Rapids, Michigan, primetime Kyle Furlan. How you doing tonight, Kyle?
I'm good. How's everybody out there doing, man?
We're doing good. I'm glad to see you guys. This is my youngest son. And he's the one responsible for getting me into fantasy football. And he is the man from Grand Rapids, Michigan. He's going to join us tonight as my co-host. So we're going to do that. We're going to introduce our sponsorship tonight. We're sponsored by Premier Properties out of Palm Harbor, Florida. We're going to have her on tonight. She's coming in here all the way from Palm Harbor, Florida tonight. She's going to join us with some great news for you guys. It's going to be kind of like the old Buffalo Wild Wings days, where we're going to put some Ballsville stuff up on their TV screens and some of their sports bars. That's coming up later, but we already talked to Alex. Alex, thanks so much for letting us do this and bringing everybody together. And Kyle, first thing we're going to talk about right now is this Terry McLaurin signing. What do you think about that out there? He got some big money.
All right. Well, here's my deal, man. I think I've just been a little salty still since last year after that loss that they gave the Lions. So I think it's about time that I jump on board, to be honest, because I mean, he's getting AJ Brown money. I mean, as far as their contracts are pretty much identical, and he's putting up a little bit less. I mean, as far as touchdowns, but I mean, this guy's been putting up 1,000 yards for the last 6 seasons. So, I mean, I think it's a good thing that they finally got it done. I think that, I mean, you can't really go wrong with him. The proof's in the pudding, man.
Yeah, the other one that was a big one too that came out, shortly after was the Trey Hendrickson defensive end over there in Cincinnati, and he got paid. He talked about holding out. I'm glad to see that one get done. I would have liked to see him go somewhere other than Cincinnati, but I'm glad he got it settled. He's a good dude. Looking forward to him getting all those sacks, getting in the backfield and tearing it up. That was another big one. One that caught me off guard was this Kenny Pickett thing. I wasn't planning on Kenny Pickett leaving the Browns by any means, and seeing him show up out here in Vegas at the Raiders, I know they're excited to get another backup quarterback. O'Connell's out hurt with a wrist injury, so they needed a backup that they could count on. They made a couple moves in the draft for a guy, Cam Miller. I'm excited to see what that young kid could do, but we got a little bit of Kenny Pickett. We'll see how that goes. They traded him with a 5th round 2026. It's basically what they gave up for him out there with the Eagles. So, how you feeling about Kenny Pickett, Kyle? You got any info on him you want to talk about?
No, I mean, I think it just had to be done. They had to thin it out a little bit. So, I mean, we're just going to have to see how that one plays out. I don't know. I got a hard time trusting him, so I would probably stay away from him, but we're just going to see how it plays out.
The other thing, guys, with all this 53-man roster cuts and ads and releases, and just remember that a lot of these teams, they do this to juggle things around, and some of them are going to end up right back on the practice squad. So just because you see a guy gone, be careful hitting that drop button, because it doesn't necessarily mean he's gone for good. So just keep that in mind. One that's really got my heart sideways is this Shiloh Sanders with the Bucks on, this cornerback. He is a safety for the Bucks, and he got in that fight. They dropped or released him this week. I look for him to end up back on the practice squad. I don't think this kid's gone from the Bucks for good. We got the Lions waived their backup quarterback, Hooker out of Tennessee. The guy was supposed to be the next follow-up behind Jared Goff. What do you think about that, Kyle? You're a Lions fan. What's going on with Campbell letting this kid basically walk, it looks like, at this point?
Yeah, everything that I'm looking at, man, is basically just, I mean, they had to give the kid a shot. We took him, I think, in the 3rd round, and we had high hopes for him, man. He had a really good year at Tennessee, and his last year, he had a lot of promise. We were really looking forward to him, but unfortunately, I just don't think it panned out. And I think that everything, with Kyle Allen was just one step better. Despite them 2 interceptions he had in his Detroit debut, he ended up, coming back, getting, the next 2 games, getting, 4 touchdowns, like almost 250 yards. It had a dang near perfect passing rating. So
there's this one here that's kind of got me hung up, because I had a lot of stock in this guy for a long time. When I saw Cam Akers headed over to the Saints, I was excited, because I honestly think, they're working on trading Kamara. I like Cam Akers. And then I see this kid getting waived. They got Clyde Edwards-Helaire out there. They signed him to a 1-year contract early during OTA time, and now they brought in Cam. I'm thinking, man, they got a pretty good running back group. And then I see them, waive him, and I'm like, what's up with Cam Akers? Why do you think he's out of the Saints at the moment?
Honestly, man, if we would look at what Cam Akers has really done in the last few years, I mean, it's not great. I think there's more to it. I think ever since he busted his Achilles the first time, I think it was, he was kind of battling uphill there. And then, anybody that's had 2 of them, it's dang near impossible to bounce back from an injury like that. And I think that he's just going to experience that. And there's just, I don't know. I've read multiple things as far as in the locker room goes. And I just, I don't know. I just don't see it anymore. He's almost 30 now.
All right. Now here's a big one. Here's a big one that ain't signed, ain't got his money bagged, but he's got the biggest mouth in the South for an owner. What are you thinking about this Micah Parsons saga going on with Jerry Jones? He's not signed. He ain't got his money. He might be traded, might not be traded. He's got an agent handling his stuff. I think it's just a bunch of hoopla to same old stuff with Jerry Jones making the news. What do you think about Micah Parsons?
Honestly, man, I think it's a bigger deal than they're making it out to be. I think it should have already been done, but I think this one is actually something we should. I mean, if you're a Dallas fan or you're counting on him coming back, I would not be surprised if he don't suit up the first few weeks. Honestly, I don't. I mean, look, he hasn't even practiced. He hasn't. I mean, is he even physically ready? I mean, I get he's a stud and all, but still, I mean, he hasn't even been in pads and practicing or nothing. So to think that, he's even going to be playing in the next couple of weeks, I don't see it. I think that Jerry Jones likes being right, and I don't think he's going to budge on this one. I think this is going to end up being a bigger deal than I need it. That's why than it started as. So I don't think he wants to be there anymore, and I won't be surprised to see him play somewhere else by the end of the year.
You got everybody else in there. Don't want to be in the way.
All right, so that brings up the Michael Parsons, and we're going to move into breaking down this draft. And I got a couple guests we can try to get in here. And in just a couple minutes, we'll go ahead and shift gears. And Kyle, I'll be bringing you back on. So take yourself a little break and hang out. And we're going to bring in another guest. You guys all know this guy. What's up, Chris?
What's up?
How you doing?
Glad to be here.
All right, man. I'm glad you made it. I first want to thank you for all the work you've been doing with Ballsville. You've been in them chat rooms. You've been helping get those drafts going. I just wanted to send out a personal thank you, man. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I kind of feel like I could be doing more, but, I try my best sometimes to get everything squared away.
Right. What are you thinking about this draft so far? Why don't you do a little commenting on this first round? Where you give me some ones you think are good, some you think ain't deserving to be there for this redraft we're doing tonight.
Well, the first thing I always notice is that I always wonder where Jefferson's going to go, because he's been slipping past the halfway point of the first round, but he's about right where he should go. The reach, I would say, is I'm just not as high on Genty as everyone else seems to be. So him going in the first round is still kind of weird to me.
I'm looking at Achane, where he's getting took. It's looking about around the same. So we're not really thinking the injuries bothering some of these guys with where they're taking them. So what do you really think's going on with Achane? Those guys down there are getting themselves around, and I think
he's going to play week 1. I think he's going to actually start the season ready to go. I really do. Now, obviously, their backup isn't going to be ready week 1. Ollie Gordon's going to be a good piece, and if he can get going early on, I think he's definitely going to cut into Wright's playing time.
I think so too. I'm liking this Ollie Gordon thing. I was pretty high on Wright when Wright came out, and I was thinking, I think this is Wright's job. And then when Ollie landed down there, I'm thinking, this kid's going to sit for a year, yada, yada, yada. But, hey, man, he had a great OTA. He's had a great camp. Wright was banged up. Now Achane's banged up. This just seems to really put him ahead, I think. So I'm sorry, guys, a little sidetrack back here. What do you think, Chris?
I'm sorry, I can barely hear you. Oh, okay, there we go. Now we're good.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to get some other computer work going on over here for some of these other guests that are showing up here. We got these big live screen TVs, people walking by, lights flashing. It's Vegas, baby, so it's different. It's going to be a little louder. You might hear me screaming, but I don't know how the chat's doing. But, guys, I hope you're out there chatting. I hope you're liking it. I hope you're liking having the draft live. That's why we're doing this. What are you looking at in that third round? What do you like to see there, Chris?
Oh, I can't believe Jacobs went that far, but I had a strategy. I wanted to get 3 running backs with different bye weeks. I would have taken Jacobs, but I already had Bijan. He's the one guy that I'm surprised lasted that long. I think Kittle also was a good pick there towards the end. Smith
Chris,
and
go ahead
Jigba.
and run with it for just a minute. I'm going to be just a second, okay?
All right. I like Hampton, but I think he might have went a little too early. McConkey's good. Chase Brown before Jacobs or Taylor might have been a little bit of a reach, I think, but he's right in that range too. McBride actually went later than I think he should have gone too. Wherever Bowers goes, you really see McBride go pretty much right after in the next couple picks, but he made it another 8 picks. So, yeah, that's about it for the third round.
All right. So, is that I see Bo Nix all the way down there in the 4th?
Yeah, I was hoping he was going to make it to me.
Yeah,
but he didn't. I had to settle for Purdy.
Yeah, you know, I watch some of these guys that I consider Ballsville veterans, Ballsville guys that have been successful in winning money and in winning championships, winning playoff berths that we have here. And I like watching them draft because, they're really kind of different. And C-Bomb, he tends to do things a little different. I watch JoJo. They kind of break it up a little bit. They'll kind of lead you on. It's kind of like going to, talking to a guy, a coach or something, not giving up all their information. I wonder sometimes how much that information they give out, they kind of like leading you down another path. You ever get that from any of them too?
Yeah, especially from that next guy too, that Todd Barber sitting right next to C-Bomb. He always drafts well.
Yeah,
always.
Todd was talking about being out here, and it just didn't work out. But Todd, we love you, man, and I'm really liking it. So, all right, guys, I got my next guest lined up, and I know you guys are all going to love this guy. And I'm going to put you on the sideline for a little bit, Chris. Don't go nowheres. We're going to bring you back up in just a little bit. And let me see if I can pull up my next one down here. All right. We got these guys. They're going to all talk together, huh? They're going to go against what I wanted done, but we're going to let them do it. We'll see how they end up. You guys know who these 3 guys are: Sean, Scott, and we got our boy from down South Florida, Kenny. Kenny, how you doing? Kenny, you in there? You got the mic on now, Kenny?
Hey, it's good to be on. I feel it's been crazy. I haven't been on a podcast in like 8 months.
All right. We got Kenny in the room. We got our Run the Hurry Up in there. We got a little bit of Sean Clem over there in the background, guys. Been a lot going on these last couple weeks, last couple months. We're all not here to talk about that. We want to talk about the future. We want to talk about being your friends. We want to talk about being league mates. And we want to talk about this draft. So I'm going to give the floor to Mr. Fitzgerald. Mr. Fitzgerald, what you got going on out here in Vegas?
I'm out here with all my friends, my family. We're going to have a great time, talk a lot of fantasy football when we're out here, have some cocktails, maybe a little lazy river. It's finally great to meet Sean, his family, bringing my family out here, meeting Jimbo and his wife. They were gracious enough to have us at their timeshare. It's a beautiful timeshare. We're so happy to be here. The weather's beautiful, not so hot. Maybe sneak a little bit of poker in. But yeah, I just wanted to come on. I know we really didn't get a formal goodbye to all you gamers that have supported us the last 2 years. I know things have been kind of rough, but just a little bit of misunderstanding, but that's okay. Whether it's right or wrong, sometimes things happen for a reason. So, like I said, we just really thank you guys for all the support. And if anything down the road, if anyone ever wants to get a hold of me, talk football, I'm still on DM, and you can still DM me on Sleeper. I'm still playing in some of the games. So, just really thankful and really blessed that I had the opportunity to be a podcaster.
Scott, I want to kind of expound on that a little bit. When all this went down with me coming to Ballsville, And, it's so ironic because it was in my heart to want to do this. And you, and along with Sean, along with Alex, you guys all gave me the opportunity. And it's so weird for me, not so much this week, but, the very first podcast I did on my own, I felt lost. It's like, where's my host? Where's my co-host? And where's the buds? But, you guys are passing a baton more than what you know. You guys are pioneers in what you do. And you brought some new games. You brought, a style of fantasy football. You brought entertainment. You brought a voice to Ballsville. And all the gamers got behind you guys. And we love you. We all love you. And guys, don't just write these guys off. Follow these guys. They're doing a lot of different things, not just podcasting, not just, in fantasy. They got some other cool stuff going on. So stay in touch with these guys in their leagues. They're going to be in the leagues all year. We got the triathlon going on. Sean, you're a big part of that triathlon thing we got going on. How are things with the triathlon? I know you're still a part of that. Are you excited for the triathlon? What's up with you, man?
Oh, absolutely. I'm excited about everything that's going on. And, one of my main things that I've always wanted is for the betterment of this group, no matter what. And I'm just happy that things are going to continue on and the group's going to continue forward. I just really like you guys, and I hope that everybody does great things in the future. I really do. Triathlon's great. I think it's going to be fun. I'm really excited about it. I'm just really thankful for everything that's happened with everything in Fallsville as far as the group is concerned and as far as the family that we've made.
Last night I had an opportunity to meet your grandma and your aunt, your girlfriend. Man, it was such a great time. A lot of you guys know that I went to Jacksonville, Florida before we left home and picked up this guy's grandpa's tractor. His grandpa just passed away, and they really wanted it back here in Vegas on the little farmhouse they got out here. It's not really a farmhouse, but it was built before a lot of the stuff around it. So it's a nice piece of property. I met grandma, met the aunt. We all sat down to some dinner last night, and it was a great time. Sean, you got a great family. You got great backing of people behind you. And tell us a little bit about some of the other aspirations you got going on other than football that you told me about.
Just a lot of various options. Prior to anything fantasy-wise, I'd been in the brewing industry, and, there's opportunities there. But, I'm not really 100% set on any direction as of right now. I'm just kind of trying to figure out, where I'm going to head in the future and what I want to do currently. I just don't think that's really something I want to focus on. I want to focus on the fact that I love Ballsville Group as a family and all the people I've met and all the friends I've made. And that's the number one reason I'm here talking to you guys right now.
Yeah, we had this whole gig planned in Vegas, Scott. We spent a lot of time talking about it. Sean, we were always, sitting down after some of the pods after they were over and chatting about how excited we are about coming out here. Now it's here. We got the bright lights. We got the Sportsbook. We got baseball up here, people betting. Got all the prop sheets behind me. I'm going to dig into them. I'm taking them back to the room. And, you guys all flew in today, Scott and Kenny. Kenny, you kind of been on a hiatus. I know you've been busy with your tax stuff. You were going to be big into Ballsville this year. Didn't really work out that way either. But yet you're still in a lot of our games and plan on bringing some folks in. And how are you excited? You excited about football? You excited about fantasy? What's going on in your life, brother?
I'm always, fantasy football always has a special place in my heart. I know a lot of you know that I do a lot of leagues, especially in the dynasty world. But,
it starts with a 3 and ends with 2 zeros.
Jeez. Yeah. Try to handle 300.
When you guys, being young,
the Persians couldn't.
About a year ago, everyone knew in Florida a hurricane hit, and helping my parents get back up on their feet, my own house. But at the same time, being young and building your career as a financial advisor, your life gets a lot busier because of the people that rely on you. So me not being able to come back on the podcast and have a big part of Ballsville had nothing to do with Ballsville. It just kind of came to, my career is important and what I want to do for people and making a positive difference just, is what my, end goal has always been. So I'm always going to be, in the fantasy world. And I know a lot of people have reached out about, dynasty and, even personal stuff about, career-wise. So, yeah, I think that's the coolest part about all of it is the friends that I've made.
Well, that's good stuff, guys. I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you, saying the things that you said. I know our gamers love you guys. They're going to continue to follow you, and I'm sure you guys will be on at least on my show every now and ever again. So I appreciate you guys coming out. Jump over there, make me some bets over there, and we'll be talking at you guys soon. Thanks for coming on.
All right, Jimmy. Good luck with your podcast. We're definitely supporting you 100%.
All right, guys. Love you.
Guys.
All righty, guys. Little heartfelt stuff from our fellow podcasters, fellow gamers, fellow Ballsville guys. They're Ballsville deep down. It's just we got a lot going on, and everybody's got their thoughts on where we want to go. And we're going to continue to break down this draft. I'm going to get some more people in here, and we're sitting here. We ended up getting a booth out here, guys. It's pretty cool. We got all the big screens up here. I don't know how much of it you can hear in the background. I know I'm probably yelling at you, but it's only because I can't hear my screen. But we're going to get back at this draft. I'm going to bring Kyle back up. Kyle, I appreciate you hanging out with us and being out here tonight. I want you to take a look at what you look in this fifth round. Grab the fifth round and pick me out a lineup that you like. Fifth round.
Let me see here. That number third spot's looking pretty good.
The number third spot, that's you.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining the draft. How you liking Ballsville? I know you're a big ESPN guy in the past, and you've since moved over to Sleeper with a lot of your friends. I know we've been in a couple different Sleeper leagues. How do you compare Sleeper to ESPN?
Oh, I just did a draft on Sunday, man, and it is night and day difference. It was horrible.
It's horrible on ESPN, huh?
Oh, it was god awful. I've been doing Sleeper more and more, and it's definitely I don't see any other way, to be honest. And I enjoy the Ballsville crew. It's cool. I need to get more involved, and I got a lot going on right now. But I'm really excited for the season, man.
What are you thinking about this fifth round? You see anything anybody's got going in the fifth round that you don't think should be there? Fifth round that's a steal. Give me a fifth round steal. Somebody that got real lucky getting them in the fifth round.
I don't know. I mean, it's going pretty much as expected right now. I mean, I was surprised that Tyreek was still there, to be honest.
Yeah, I think Tyreek. He's dropped so much. He was injuries last year. Tua kind of played a little bit of that, and then he had the personal issues with his wife. Getting stopped on the traffic stop, and it just seems like he's kind of just down there, not really into it. Is what it looks like to me. Is why he's dropped off so bad. But I can't believe it. What about you, Chris? Why you think Hill's dropped off?
Hill?
Yeah, Tariq. Why you?
I don't think he should, because I think he's fine.
Yeah, you think he's all right?
I think he's going to be perfectly fine. I don't even think there's any issues with management. I think he's going to be A-okay.
All right. Well, that's interesting. I'm looking at down here, and I'm looking at Connor. I'm looking at Hubbard. I'm looking at Walker, and I'm thinking those are all number ones, pretty much. I don't always look at Walker as a number one because he's always hurt, but Hubbard is doing real well down there in with the Panthers, and Connor's got Benson ready to chomp at the bit. I'm going to ask you, Chris, what do you think with Connor and Benson in that Arizona backfield? How do you think that's really going to play out?
I think it's going to be all Connor until the wheels fall off, and that might be sooner rather than later. Give him 6 weeks, and then he could be on his way out from injuries.
Yeah, even Connor himself. I've been doing a little bit of research on him and bumped into a couple little interviews where Connor has really praised this kid up and even said, "Hey, he's going to get some touches that I probably should get." But he's ready. And when you got a veteran like Connor, giving his backup a praise and support, I think that's cool. I I think the best is going to happen for Benson. I really want to see the kid play. You know, he's down there at Florida State, got a chance to watch a couple college games live down there with them, and I'm excited to see Benson in the NFL. Kyle, you know, I know you're not a big Arizona fan out there. Are you a fan of Marvin Harrison Jr.?
I am. Yeah, I am. Despite him going, you know, to a horrible college, I'm okay with him. Yeah, unfortunately I haven't got him in a lot of my drafts, just because of kind of where he's fell. But I think he's going to snap back this year and have a better, as far as production goes. I think he's going to put up some bigger numbers.
What I know, Chris, you're a Giants fan. I see they got rid of you know, their little Italian man. They let him walk. I honestly thought they were going to try to, you know, move Winston here at the end and maybe try to get some draft capital out of him. But I think they're staying true to what they said with Winston. They're keeping him as a leadership role. I really think the next one to come out of the picture for good, I really think Wilson is going to play the year. I do think that if they end up having a rough way to go, we're going to see the new guy. I think he's going to be in there, but I think Winston's going to be the long-term backup there. What do you think?
So I that's what the plan will be, but I think what's going to happen is Wilson gets his year, and it's only going to be a year, and then Dart starts next season fresh as the quarterback one. Winston is the backup that will be Dart's backup next year. They're not going to get rid of Winston. Winston is going to be there at least through next year.
Right. I like, you know, I've always liked Winston, even when he was down here. The guy he just throws the ball to the wrong player. You know, that's been my big problem with him is he just throws too many interceptions. And I'm excited to see this Tracy and Scadaboo backfield play out. I'm really surprised to see Scadaboo not a little bit more in the mix. I'm really concerned. I honestly think Singletary is going to have a big play in this backfield. What do you think about Singletary?
I think Singletary won't be used unless Tracy starts to fumble the ball. And he fumbled all last year. But when he starts to fumble, it'll be like a true split backfield between all three of them. But until that happens, I see Tracy getting a large share of the carries, Scadabo coming in as a change of pace / you know, tough 1 yard gain type plays. But it'll be Tracy until he falters. That'll be the only way Singletary will get any good run.
You know, if you take a look at GLC down here in the one hole, I'm liking his team, okay? And I am surprised to see Mahomes make it all the way back down there. I cannot believe that. I would have thought Mahomes would have been way before that. What do you think, Kyle? In the number, you know, he's down there in the second round, very last pick of the second round.
No, that was about where he was going. I was in a draft last night, and that's where I ended up taking him. It was like him, like Bo Nix, stuff like that. Yeah, you just kind of it all just depends on, you know, with these two quarterback with the super flex. I mean, I still put him right up there. I mean, the top 6 quarterbacks, you can really go either way, in my opinion.
Just sit there and I'll
all on your preference, you know, on
the studio.
Teams.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. You know, my wife, you know, I came up here to the Sportsbook early to get set up and get all my stuff, get the groove, get some of these lights flashing in the background. And the wife's sending me a text saying Kelsey, you know, he's engaged now. He asked Taylor to marry him. I mean, Kyle, come on, you're a young guy. What do you think about this Taylor Swift? You think she's a distraction? You think Kelsey, he's playing for the money? You think he's notoriety? He's trying to build his retirement program, or you just think this broad's as good in the sack as everybody else?
I'm gonna tell you how much I think about it. I don't.
You don't think about it at all because it ain't got nothing to do with football?
I don't, man. At the end of the day, it's the end of the day, and I don't think about that stuff. I'm I got too
What
much
about
to worry
you?
about
What
than
about
worry
you,
about what
Chris?
Taylor Swift's doing, man.
What do you think about
The
this
only-
Taylor Swift thing?
The only thing that bothers me is that it just means for the next year, all I'm going to hear about or see is whenever there's a Chiefs game on TV, 10 times a game at least, it's going to pan right to her in the stands. We don't need to see that. I don't want to see that anyways. And it's just going to feed into the narrative that the Chiefs are getting the calls, not getting the call, or not having the calls go against their way. Whether it's right or wrong, that's just how it's going to be played out. And anything that's not football related should be not broadcast that way. That's how I feel.
All righty, guys. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna ask the El Presidente, who's kind of in the background running the draft for us back here. I'm gonna ask Alex for you to pick out the number one team that you like, and if this person's been active in chat, I want you to go ahead and get them the link to come on, and we're going to bring them on as a guest to the show and let them finish breaking down the draft the rest of the way if they want to come on. And if they refuse, grab somebody that is willing, get them the link, get them on here, get them in the studio, and we'll get them on here. But guys, that's gonna conclude the live portion of this draft. And we're going to move on to some other podcast stuff we got going on, some other information that we're all going to play with and talk about. We got waiver wire strategies we got to go over yet. And, of course, we got Jimbo's hot takes just laying back there in the weeds. It wouldn't be a show without Jimbo's hot takes. So we're going to bring that on. We're going to do a little more football talk. And thanks for coming out and doing the draft, guys, live. Continue to draft. We'll be watching it periodically. We'll pull it up, make some comments, try to get some new blood up in here and do some more talking. So, Kyle, what's it like for you with your first experience coming on the pod? I see you got your little whiteboard, your John Gruden whiteboard back there. What are you thinking about being live on the podcast for Ballsville tonight?
Oh, I'm liking it, man. It's I mean, like anything, you're gonna sometimes experience, technical difficulties, but I like how everybody just kind of rolls right through with it. Everybody keeps a good level head. Everybody that I've seen to meet is cool dudes, and I'm looking forward to working with everybody, man.
All right, well, Kyle, we're working our way into segment number 3. All right, guys, this is going to be our injury update segment, and of course, I'm missing my new old co-host, Ms. Sarah. Sarah had the opportunity to, move up and come off the practice squad. She'd been working underneath Scott and Sean, and then she had an opportunity to help me out and get going. And, Sarah's been blessed with the opportunity that Ballsville's given her. She's going to take her talents, and she's going to move into the Wednesday night slot and start her own show. She's going to be out here in Vegas later on this week. So I'm missing her with my slideshow. I'm going to have to regroup and get me somebody that knows a computer like Miss Sarah. But so I don't have my in-house doctor to pull up to get this segment going. But Kyle, you're first up on this injury update. Last week we talked about Mixon and how he was injured. They brought Chubb in. We didn't really know what was going to happen with Mixon, whether he was going to end up on IR. He's on the NFI, which is going to make him missed the first 4 games, so he is out for the first 4 games with this foot injury. What do you take of this injury in Houston and look to replace him? Who would you be targeting on the waiver wire if you had Mixon on your roster?
I mean, obviously, if I'm messing with Joe Mixon or Chubb, I mean, it kind of goes hand in hand right now. Joe Mixon's been sitting up there, and it's kind of just who's going to be the one to take the bait. And every draft is different. I swear I'm not going to take him, and then he just falls, and I'm like, and then Chubb's kind of sitting there too. But for the most part, I'm trying to stay away from it unless, like in this draft, for certain situations, if somebody grabbing Mixon, I'll grab Chubb to kind of maybe use as trade bait, something like that, or I'll kind of look even out, and I'll even look at like a Najee Harris or somebody else that's right there.
I'm kind of excited about. I'm excited about it actually, not because Mixon's hurt, but I'm so high on this Woody Marks kid down there, and I'm really excited you know, that Stroud's got a new offensive coordinator. I think they were kind of moving a little bit away from the running game anyway, being that they had an older vet running back as their number one. They really didn't know what they had with Pierce. He'd been hurt all this time. They went out and they draft this Woody Marks kid, who I think is a remarkable running back. I'm so excited to see him play. And I think with a new offensive coordinator, they were really trying to do some things in the passing game. So I think Chubb is a great pickup to help out. So he's probably not out there on many waiver wires right now, but I'll bet you Woody Marks is, and I'd be picking up Woody Marks if I had the opportunity. If not making some trades to try to replace the Mixon start for the first 4 games. Now, I'm going to run this one to you, Chris. I know we talked about it a little bit today. Jennings, wide receiver, 49ers. Is this kid really got a calf injury? Is he really the number 2/number 1 with Ayuk out? Is he going on IR, not going to start the season? Is this really all a smoke screen just for his contract talks? What is going on in the 49ers wide receiver room? Because I'll tell you what, it looks like a damn – you want to talk about hurricanes in Florida. They got hurricanes out here in their wide receiver room. It's a mess.
So let me start by saying I think Pearsall is the true one there. Jennings has been in the league for 5 years, and last year is the only year he's been relevant in any way. Even last year, he had 3 weeks where he finished in the top 15 in scoring for a wide receiver, played almost twice as many games as Pearsall, and Pearsall had the same amount of top 15 finishes.
Okay, so here's why I'm concerned, Chris. Let me check this out. You and I talked a little bit earlier today. If you look at Jennings' current contract, it's all made up of incentives. If this cat don't play, he ain't getting paid no way.
Now, when it comes to that, I think he's not ready right now, right? But I think he's going to pressure the organization to get him in there so he can hit those incentives, and it's going to affect him long term because he's not going to be ready, but he's going to want to play. He's going to force the hand of the 49ers. They probably won't budge on it, but if they do, it'll be to his detriment. He's not ready.
Right. All right, another update. Spears, we talked about the running back over there in Tennessee. We talked about him having this high ankle sprain last week. They didn't lean one way or the other. The kid's going to start on IR. He's going to miss 4 games. What do you think about Spears backing up Pollard, Kyle? Pollard is the number 1 bell cow, comes out of Dallas. I'm not worried about him being a bell cow. I mean, he basically took Zeke's job, like that. And now he's up there in Tennessee. I think this does nothing but bring Pollard's stock up in the fantasy world. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I'm kind of staying away from Tennessee, but I mean, if you're going to dabble over there, I agree.
Okay, I'll take that. Now, one I'm kind of high on to talk about tonight. It's why I put him in there again. Everybody's going to say, why the hell are we talking about O'Connell, backup quarterback for the Raiders? Well, number one, we out here in Vegas right now, right? All right, so we got all kinds of things to talk about. We got O'Connell hurt. We got the number 1 running back out of the draft. We got all this stuff happening out here, new head coach, new ownership. We got excitement around the Raiders out here. O'Connell goes down hurt. O'Connell's not a bad backup quarterback, I don't think. Okay, he's got the wrist injury. They're saying 6 to 8 weeks this cat's going to be out, right? So what do? They run out on the waiver wire, and they grab this guy that just gets – they're going to make a trade with Cleveland, who's got all these quarterbacks stacked up like cordwood up there in Cleveland, like they're ready for the winter to come. And so now they get rid of one. They didn't gain nothing, really. I don't know. I'd have to look at what 5th-round pick was which. The 5th-round pick that they gave up to Philly versus the 5th-round pick they just gained from the Raiders. I don't know where it really turns out, but it was just, was it just buying them time to figure out what the hell they were going to do out there in Cleveland? But Kenny Pickett to the Raiders. What do you think, Chris?
I think that eventually it slides the other guy down, O'Connell down. I think Pickett will end up being the backup. Otherwise, they wouldn't have wanted him.
I agree with you there. I think Pickett is better than O'Connell by leaps and bounds. O'Connell's got a pretty good arm. I like his arm. He's got a lot of strength. But what I'm really looking at is the rookie that they just drafted, Cam Miller. I like this kid. I mean, he came, he played for the same college as Lance did, when Lance was all that but a bag of chips. But this kid's got some stats to back it up. Mr. Cam Miller does. This kid can run the football. He's fast. He's big. Got a good arm. The guy's stats just jump off the charts. I'm excited to see Cam Miller play. I'm really surprised that they made this move for Kenny Pickett. I think they did it because they just aren't in a spot that if Geno goes down to throw this kid to the wolves. So I think that's why they went out and did it. I just think they just didn't have a good enough backup, and they saw Pickett was getting ready to be gone. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I don't know much about the guy myself.
All right, well, that's going to wrap up. That's going to wrap up our injury report. I'm going to take you out for just a minute, Chris, because this is going to be a little reunion. This is going to be a little reunion with Kyle, with somebody he knows. And I just got to find you, Chris, where you at. We're going to bring you over here. We're going to remove you out. And we are going to welcome Miss Nikki from Premier Properties way down in Palm Harbor, Florida, which is a friend of ours in business, a friend of ours in friends. Kyle's had the opportunity to meet Miss Nikki, so he knows all about her. Just a little bit, guys. Miss Nikki owns Premier Properties, which is a real estate company in Florida, which also dabbles in sports bars and restaurants. And so Nikki is a very creative girl. She had some bars, sports restaurants up in upstate New York, over by Buffalo area. Come down to Florida. Nikki, I'm so thankful for you, for coming on the show. And I'm going to get emotional here. I'm so thankful for everything you've done to help the community in Hernando Beach and all the way down to Tampa, Clearwater area. You are a pillar to our community and just a successful businesswoman and a great friend. So welcome to our show. And I know you know a little bit about football, having bars and restaurants. So what's going on down there in Hernando Beach, Palm Harbor tonight?
Well, honestly, after a rough year with hurricanes that we've had since last year and just trying to get, people to come back out to the bars and restaurants, we're definitely looking forward to football season. We need it. We need people to be back out in bar seats. We need people to be around each other. We need the community back to support each other. And we haven't had that since last year because of all these storms and the devastation that we had along the west coast of Florida. So football season coming up, it's just going to, bring people back out, bring people together, get people in bar seats, get people talking, people having fun. And we need that.
Yep. So much, Nikki, you've been so creative in bringing different types of entertainment to your restaurants and your sports bars down there. And we kind of got together a little bit when we talked about sponsorship and, you went ahead and said, hey, Jimmy, I want to back this. I want to get involved with Ballsville. And, we've been talking about, how we can, help you from a fantasy football community with your sports bars and, getting on some of your TVs, maybe doing some of our live drafts on your screens on the weekends, around Super Bowl time, doing some special events with Ballsville. And we're really looking forward to that. And I'm glad you got an open mind to it. And I just want to introduce you to our community of fantasy football players and what we do. And I thought it would give them a breath of fresh air to see somebody that does what you do, that's interested in what we do and how maybe we can collaborate, come together and support each other. And in the meantime, have fun doing it. What do you think about bringing Ballsville in and having this collaboration together?
I think it's a great idea. Like I said, the more people come out and the more people work together and have fun together, it's better for everybody. We need more people in the seats. Business has been rough the last year. So anything that we can team up and do, I'm there for.
Kyle, I'm going to give you a chance to say hi to Miss Nikki there.
Well, hello.
Hi, Kyle.
Talk to you.
How are you?
Good.
Thanks for helping out. I heard about that and I really appreciate it. I think it's cool that what you guys are doing and I'm super excited, man.
Good. I'm glad to see you on here.
All right. Real good, guys. All right, Miss Nikki, I'm going to thank you again for, Premier Properties coming on and sponsoring Live on the Waiver Wire, our show every Tuesday nights. So get out there and let all your folks know, your employees, and tell them to start looking forward to seeing Ballsville in your stores and in your properties, and good luck. And, anytime you need any advertisement help, or if you're looking for a good real estate agent, maybe, who knows, one of our Ballsville family members may have a wife or a daughter or somebody looking for some work down in Florida. So I appreciate you coming on tonight. And like always, love you, girl.
Love you too. Bye, guys.
All right. Good night.
Bye.
Hi, Nikki.
Bye.
All righty, guys. I'm not as quick as on the button here as Miss Sarah is. So we're going to get down here, and we're going to bring Chris back up. Chris, you're back in there. Sorry to take that good-looking girl, and she had to take your spot for a minute. But anyway, so that's Miss Nikki from Premier, and she's really excited. And guys, just so you know, really what we're talking about doing with that, I don't know if you guys ever used to go out to Buffalo Wild Wings, where they had the little game pads in front of you and stuff and whatnot. What we're trying to put together is, like when we're drafting and doing this and doing that, they're going to give us our own Ballsville television screens in there. So these television screens in their sports bars are going to be dedicated to the Ballsville family. We can do with them what we choose. We can put our drafts up while we're drafting. We can, try to use them to bring in gamers to try to join our leagues. We can have live drafts there. We can interface with them during the off season and do all our stuff live in some of their sports bars, to where we may gain some new gamers. We may, have some opportunity to do some pretty cool stuff. So I'm pretty excited about it. I was excited when they came on. They're also going to be helping with some of our apparel, at least from the Jimbo side of things. They're helping me with the hats. They're helping me with T-shirts. So we got a lot of things happening, and I'm just thankful that, Alex from Ballsville has been open-minded. He has been saying, Jimmy, you're off the chain, but man, I like that. And, to me, guys, it's all about having fun. It's all about doing it right. And when you got gamers like we have here at Ballsville, it just, I want to do and have fun. I'm 59. I don't know how much longer I'll be doing this stuff, but Kyle, what do you think about that type of thing happening in a sports bar? Would you jump on that train and look at it and say, man, I'm joining this league? What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's cool. I know that they know a lot of people down there and stuff. So I mean, anything that gets the community out and going and stuff, and people love football, man. But
yeah,
I think it's awesome.
It's going to be a cool deal. I really, really do. All right, guys, we're going to move into our next segment. We have some more guests scheduled. We'll see if they get here. They don't get here. They're probably out there playing poker over here. Poker room right behind me, guys. I'm not kidding you. Poker room right behind me. You can walk over there and play some Texas Hold'em, just like we do at the end of the year on our games. How we're betting and wagering our winnings away to try to see if we can win more. But all right, our next segment, we're going to talk a little bit about waiver wire strategy. With all this chaos, Armageddon, I call it 53-man roster Armageddon, man. I can't even keep up. I'll know more than type in a story I want to talk about. I'm like, holy cow, which one do I do? Which story do I talk about? But these waiver wire strategies I wrote down. I got Chubb, obviously, running back going to Houston. We talked about Cam Miller for the Raiders. We talked about Ollie Gordon down there in Miami a little bit. We talked about the Miller thing to the Saints and Kenny Pickett. So that leaves two on my list. I'm going to leave this one up to Chris. Chris, where are you at on this trade from Denver to the Saints for D-Bale? Belly, D-E-L-E, wide receiver that was in Denver last year, actually kind of was doing some good. And why and what do you think about him running down there to the Saints now? They picked him up. Trade.
I think for this year, it matters not. I mean, their quarterback situation is going to suck all year. So, I mean, the only one worth having there, in my opinion, is Kamara.
Really?
I mean, for where he's getting drafted, Kamara.
Yeah,
I mean,
they named Rattler the starting quarterback today. Rattler got named the quarterback, which I felt was the right thing to do. There was a lot of hype behind Shook coming in. I didn't really think Shook was the answer. I was happy with what I saw with Rattler last year. I kind of felt that they would go with a veteran to go behind him. And I don't think the party's over yet. And I think you might see Kirk Cousins down there is my gut. That's my gut. That's not a hot take. That's just a gut. That's a gut feeling that I think we'll see a veteran down there, and they'll give Shook a little more time. And I think Rattler's going to be the boy, and I think he'll do good. What do you think, Kyle?
Man, I was literally just looking at that name. It's all a guessing game. I mean, to be honest, I've always been a Kirk Cousins fan, so I got a hard time just believing that he's gonna, just
end up
ride
down
that
there.
out.
Yeah. I don't blame you. It's hard to say, but I don't think Cousins is going to stay put up in Atlanta with all that embarrassment from last year, and as much money as they owe him, it's hard to see him really going anywhere. But I don't know. I think Rattler will do a good job, and I do think they're going to add a veteran quarterback. All right, the next one I got on my list, Jalen Lane, rookie wide receiver that the Commanders picked up. I think this kid is going to see the field this year. I think he got a little more exposure at camp with Lauren being out. So I think they got a better look at him to really see what this kid's got to offer. He's a great punt returner, great kick returner. I think he's going to make a mark. I think he will be the number 3 wide receiver right out of the gate. I think he starts week 1 at the number 3. What do you think, Chris?
Good stash. I think if you need to use him, your team's already got issues. But if he's there, you're taking the risk. Oh my God, is he going to outperform the guy who has already produced for you, or is coming off of a year where he produced? Because you're not taking him before you've taken other guys that have produced in previous years. So it's just a leap of faith.
Yeah, see, you guys. Okay, I don't know what your ages are together. I know what Kyle's age is. I'm not quite sure what yours is, but it's really ironic to hear both you guys talk about rookies. You guys both kind of draft with what has proven. You guys draft like older guys, okay? And it's really kind of weird to see you guys kind of run what has been proven and aren't real high on rookies. They got to be really outstanding rookies. Just like me and Kyle were talking a little earlier today. Kyle's like, man, it's preseason, bro. You don't worry about a Matt Stafford. I don't care about his back. I don't care about this. If he ain't laying up in the hospital bed, he's going to start week 1. So I get it. You guys are run a little bit on the veteran side. Kyle, we talked a little bit about this. Let's go ahead and talk about the Matthew Stafford thing. He's back at practice. I know you're a Lions fan. I know you love Matt Stafford. I know you like, his situation that he's come into out there in LA, and now your boy Adams is there. What do you think is going to happen with? I know you think in your heart he's going to play. I think the same thing. But what do you look for with the addition of Adams, with the Puka Nacua, and the running back out there, Williams? What are you thinking for the Rams and Stafford?
Well, it's always hard to guess when you're talking Sean McVay, but one thing I know about Stafford is, man, if the kid can play, he's going to play. I've seen him play through multiple injuries, and I think that, he's, on the back end of his career. So I think he wants to finish strong, and like I was telling you, man, I don't worry about him when it comes to practicing. He's like Tyreek Hill or somebody else. Everybody wants to, overread everything and overthink it and think that something is god awful with it. Man, they're just resting and getting ready for the season. Enough of the.
All right, looks like I'm not going to cut you off, Kyle. Sorry about that. I got to El Presidente's in my ear here in the producer section, burning up my new earbuds. He says C-Bomb's got this nice looking team here. He wants us to look at it. I'm going to give you first run at C-Bomb's team there, Chris. What are you thinking he's doing?
C-Bomb. Let's see.
It's highlighted there for you, I think.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm still not sold on Krosky. Although if he does start, he's obviously good where he's drafted. But I still think Eckler's going to get a lot of run there. Other than that, I think he waited a little too long on tight end. I'm not sold on it. I think Andrews is on the downturn big time.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you too, Chris. I don't really. I mean, for C-Bomb, it looks like he went top heavy on his draft. He went with some things he's counting on. This to me looks like C-Bomb spreading his cards out, not spending his cards all in one draft. We know C-Bomb is in a lot of drafts. We know he's a successful drafter and a fantasy football player. I think further down in the draft, he started swinging at some backups. He started swinging at some possible dart throws that could perform. You look at the Jacksonville running back he's got there. You look at Woody Marks, which I'm high on. He went with a Pierce thing there just to help it along. I think he's going to be light on running back as the year goes on. I think he may be a little underpowered, if you will, for his running back room. So I'm going to go ahead and look at Kyle's draft for just a second while he's on air here, and I can give him some shit. I might as well do it. I don't get it often anymore.
Yeah, this one's been a little different for me.
All right, looks like Kyle is gone with some nice plays here, looking good. I see. Yeah, I like. You did pretty good there, son. I like. All right, Lal, sorry for cussing. You're on here, so let's expose you just a little bit too, young man. All right, you went real running back heavy in the top. You like having your studs up there. I've noticed that you've kind of switched gears with your drafting and redraft and have gone a lot of running back heavy in your first 3 rounds. This isn't the first time you've done that. I am a little surprised that you're pulling the Jimbos here and getting 3 quarterbacks basically in a row. I really like the Laporta pick there. I think you got value at that at the 6th round. And then you come right back with Kincaid. I like your tight end group. Very, very strong tight end group. So I'm not so happy with your wide receiver run there. I like the Judy pick. The Addison is going to put you from playing behind with the suspension. You're not going to come on with him till later in the year. The Jacoby Myers thing, I'm a little leery about. You know that they just brought, Cooper out here, signed him to a 1-year contract. I see Jacoby's wanting to trade. The Reed thing could play out for you. I like Bateman. Wilson's a dart throw, and I really like that last pick you made down there with the Cincinnati wide receiver. That kid is good. So overall, I'm liking some of these guys that you did, Chris. I think you got a solid team.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. All right, it does not look like El Presidente brought anybody in. So, Alex, if you're back there with us and you do want to come back on and hang out with us for a little bit, we can bring you in and we can wrap this up. We got Jimbo's hot takes left, and then we're going to color this thing gone out here in Vegas on our first annual Players Experience out here in Vegas. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this. Bear with me, guys. Doing everything manual without Miss Sarah. Miss Sarah, your name's getting brought up a lot, girl. We love you here in Ballsville, and we miss you here in Ballsville. So I am going to go to this screen. Give me just a second, guys. One more click. And Kyle, how did you like drafting live on the air? Do you like it? Not like it? Do you think it's fun?
Yeah, I like it. It was a little tough, for my first time, obviously, trying to navigate, the podcast plus doing that and trying to, pay attention to everything. So
right. It is. It's rough. I know exactly what you're saying. You're looking down when you should be looking up and you feel kind of lost. And, the fast drafts are kind of tough because, you got that 30-second thing. So before we get into Jimbo's hot takes, guys, I want you guys to all take a look at the Joe Street Journal. Okay, guys, I'm going to plug this for just a second. Joey's working hard. JoJo's working hard. He's not only a player in the leagues, he's up there in the management with Ballsville. He's doing this DFS thing. He's, Connor's wearing him out on all these podcasts with Rookieville, right into Dynastyville. They took over that Dynasty program and they're trying to help get that off the ground, bring that more into tune with our podcast. But this DFS thing, guys, that JoJo's working on, You need to get out there, get into Discord, check out this Joe Street Journal and the DFS leagues that we're putting out there. I think this is going to be fun, guys. I really, really do. It might come off, it's kind of bad timing from a player standpoint, I think, because, we've all spent our wad basically on playing fantasy, and now all of a sudden it's $200 for this. And I think, guys, look it over. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think it'll bring you off from, apps like, the Hard Rock and all those other apps. I think it's going to give you a chance to take the DFS, mix it with a league, and I think it's really, really going to be fun. Chris, you've looked into this already. What are you thinking about this?
You just got to remember that it's season long, so that $200 payment is just a one-time thing. You get weekly bonuses for winning the week. Big payout at the end for the winner, the one who has the most points at the end of the season. I've been in one of these leagues before years ago, and it was fun.
Yeah, Kyle, I know you're a big DFS daily fantasy player. I've watched you do it sitting on my couch. Look into this, Kyle. I know you don't have a lot of knowledge on it right now, but you can go into Discord. You can go into the website. Go over there to Sticky's area. Get into JoJo's Street Journal. Look up this DFS thing, Kyle. I think you're really going to like it. So leading into that, Kyle, we're going to switch it up and go into Jimbo's Hot Takes, segment 5 of this podcast. And we are going to start doing a Kyle's Hot Takes so that I have somebody to say, that looks like it's kind of out of here. Kyle, tell us a little bit about your Coas Loveland tight end from the Bears hot take. Lay it on us, buddy.
All right, man. I'm on this kid. Well, obviously, we got our offensive coordinator from the Lions going over there. I think that he's going to do a really good job of mixing him up in there. I mean, look at what he did with Laporta. Even last year with Caleb Johnson or Caleb Williams, his production was already going down. And I think that with Loveland coming in there, I think that not only can he kind of block, so it's going to kind of prove that he can do it. But I mean, you also got Komet with. I'm going off of more of what Komet is doing because he's a rookie. But I think from just where you can get him in these drafts, if you miss one of them top two guys that you really want a good tight end, Loveland's there, man, and I'm really high on this kid. I think he's going to.
All right, so you got this kid. You're so high on this kid. You got him finishing in the top 5 of all tight end fantasy points in 2025. That's your hot take?
Oh, 100%. Yes, sir.
All right, so Kyle's hot take, guys. Write it down here. Go in and get your pub subs. We gotta break the ice with Kyle and teach him about all these pub sub bets that we do. But Colson Loveland, tight end of the Bears, rookie tight end, finishes in the top 5 of all tight end fantasy points in 2025. Watch that chat room light up right now. What do you think about that one, Chris?
No, I think there's going to be at least one rookie ahead of him, and Warren, for one. He's not passing Bowers. He's not passing. There's going to be another surprise in there, too. I think Kincaid's going to be really good. Everything has to be right for Loveland to do that. There's not a Bowers every year.
I'm going to say he's got a chance, and you want to know why? Because I had Kelsey in my top 5, but now that he's getting all up in this marriage thing, I'm not so sure. I think Kelsey might fall out and give Kyle a chance of making his hot take come true. All right, guys, here it is. Hot off the Vegas press. You seen it. El Presidente put it up. Jimbo's hot takes. All right, guys. This is kind of I kind of did something a little different. This one's a parlay, okay? This is a 4-legger parlay out here in Vegas. This is an all Raiders, all unders hot take from Jimbo. Bowers is going to be under 1,200 yards rushing. Genty, who I'm high on, is going to be under 1,100 yards rushing. Crosby, defensive end, is going to be under 12 sacks. And the team as a whole, this Raiders team, rebuilt by Tom Brady himself, hands-on, brings down the big old coach from Seattle. We're going to light this up. Gets a number 1 running back out of the draft. And they're over-under out here in Vegas right now for total wins here is 7.5. I'm saying they're going to be under 8 wins. So it all under parlay, Jimbo's hot takes, Bowers under 1,200 yards receiving, Genty under 1,100 yards rushing, Crosby under 12 sacks for the season, and the team itself will be under 8 wins. What do you think of that, Kyle?
I think it's horrible.
Right about this, Jimbo.
I think that's horrible.
Plug, that was nice. You don't think so, Kyle? What do you which one do you think?
Oh, I think Crosby's going to get more sacks than that.
You do?
I mean, oh yeah,
Okay.
I'm a big Crosby guy.
You're picking Crosby to ruin my parlay under bet.
Well, I think it just starts with that. I think you're kind of
All right,
paddling
Chris, I
upstream
see you
there.
shaking your bald head.
You went against the norm, and you went with 2 offensive weapons. One of those guys is going to pop. The other guy won't make it. That hot take is like a fart in church.
Okay, so you're telling me as soon as we get up off this live podcast from Las Vegas, Nevada, you're jumping right in that pub sub thing and trying to make me a bet, ain't you?
I don't know which one of them is not going to make it, but all 4 of them aren't going to make it together.
So you don't think that all 4 of these are going to be unders. You think somebody's going to go over.
One of them will go over, definitely.
Right, put that in the pub sub, and maybe I'll agree to it. But all right, guys, that's going to bring this whole thing to a close. I'm going to say goodbye to you guys, not as the pod. I'm staying on for a minute or two, but I am going to say goodnight to my co-host and my son, Kyle. Prime time. Look for Kyle to be in more Ballsville. Kyle, thanks for coming on the show.
Yes,
Have
sir.
a good night. Tell the granddaughter I said hi. Love you, son. We'll see you later.
Bye, man.
All right, so we're going to say goodbye to Kyle. Chris, this one here is a little more heartfelt. I'm going to not let you off the hook so easy as I did with Kyle. I, again, want to thank you for everything you've done for Ballsville. I want to thank you again for being here to help these gamers, especially the new ones when they come in. They don't understand the payouts. They don't understand the wagering process, or they don't understand the format. And you have jumped up, filled a void that even with the past management and even with all the vets of this Ballsville group, you have stepped up as a rookie. And in my book, you are the rookie of the year for Ballsville offseason. And I just want to thank you and tell you I love you, brother. And I missed you out here in Vegas. I hope next year you can make it to our experience no matter where it's at. So thanks for coming on the show. And I'm going to go ahead and say good night to you and your family. Have a good night, sir.
Good night.
All right, buddy. All righty, guys. That's going to bring it here. Alex, if you are out there and you want to jump on and close this bad boy out with me, you're more than welcome. If not, I'll do it by myself. Guys, I don't know how to put this. It's been a hell of a year for me. You know, between the hurricanes, the motorcycle accidents, the off season, all the drafts I was in, you know, doing the work in the house, going through all the insurance stuff with the wreck. It's just been crazy. And then, you know, Alex gives me this opportunity with Scott and Sean to get on here and be a part of this podcast thing. Hell, I didn't know what I was doing, guys. I'd never done any live radio. I'd never done any live podcast. I looked at myself and said, shit, you don't even look good on TV, bro. So anyways, I want to say thank you to all of the Ballsville management. Alex, thanks again, brother. You've been phenomenal. I want to say thank you to Sean Clem. I want to say thank you to Scott Fitzgerald. You guys, you know, you've been there for me. You helped me along. You answered every phone call. You took every text. I'm going to miss you guys more than what you know, but you're right around the corner with a phone call. And we're making new friends every day. Ethan, I love you, brother. You've been on the show. You're great for Ballsville. Todd Barber, I appreciate your support. Chiefs, I could go on and on. The list is great. But one thing is for sure, guys, we're getting ready to break bread and have this NFL season kick off. I'm so excited for the triathlons. I'm excited to sit back and let my big game just sit there and, you know, churn butter, baby. I look at it like them best ball leagues just are out there churning butter, waiting to see if I make it to the playoffs and deciding on how much I'm going to wager. I'm looking forward to seeing Sarah yet this week out here. She's coming. I'm looking forward to seeing C-Bomb. So, you know, it's another night on the pod. We'll see you guys next Tuesday when I get home, and we'll do it all over again. And as they say, what happens out here in Vegas stays in Vegas. So kind of keep it quiet. I'm going to make my way over here to the table and do me a little bit of side betting before the wife shows up to pick me up and get me some parlays done and do all that fun stuff out here at the window. So good night, Ballsville. I love you. It's been fun. Las Vegas out.